we must make progress. I could never forget the honourable gentleman, the member for Stone, and I wouldn't try. Point of order, Mr. William Cash.
I'm extremely grateful, Mr. Speaker. I wish to raise what took place last night with regard to the question of Amendment 3 in relation to the alternative vote bill. Mr. Speaker, this was, in many people's judgment, a breach of the underlying conventions of the House, the spirit of the rules, irrespective of the precision that could be applied to the standing orders themselves. We saw the cynical adoption of amendments with which the coalition government clearly disagrees, adopted merely to induce a negative vote. No opportunity was given for my amendments or those of other honourable members to be either debated or voted upon in committee. The threshold amendments themselves are about percentages and proportionality, as is the principle of the bill itself. I would urge you to protect the underlying fundamental conventions of the House and the spirit of the rules on this matter on report stage, if you would.
Just before I respond to the honourable and learned gentleman, the Deputy Leader of the House is here, and I think the House will want to hear from him.
I'm most grateful, Mr. Speaker. I think it was entirely regrettable that we didn't reach a very important group last night. Clearly, the House wanted to have sufficient time to take a view on that matter, which is why my honourable friend, I think quite properly, gave an indication that he would put the amendment before the House to give the opportunity to members to take a view. In the end, they decided not to take a view. There was no one in support of that amendment. However, having taken account of events yesterday and given the important matters that we have to debate today, can I draw attention, Mr. Speaker, to the programme motion which we will shortly be taking a view on, which will take away any knives this evening, which means that if we do not complete Clause 9 this evening, we will be able to continue discussion tomorrow, which seems to be an entirely appropriate course of action.
Deputy Leader of the House, for what he said. I'm trying to wrap it up, but of course we must hear from Mr. Chris Bryant.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I think that Deputy Leader of the House is somewhat mistaken in his interpretation of what happened yesterday evening. I think there was a clear desire by many honourable members not just to debate the particular issue of thresholds, but actually to debate Clause 6, which hasn't been debated at all in any shape or form in this House. Well, the honourable gentleman is saying from a sedentary position over there that I was wasting time. I profoundly object to his saying that when we choose to scrutinise his legislation, that he's calling into question my good faith. The truth of the matter is that the government didn't provide enough time for the debate. And in addition, the Deputy Leader of the House last night, when he suggested to me that he was bringing forward this new motion, said that it was because all the rest of the stuff that we were going to debate tomorrow was a pile of dross and didn't really need very much analysis. So I hope, Mr. Deputy Speaker, that there will be a process of making sure that Mr. Speaker, sorry, he is Mr. Speaker, who could doubt, that there will be a process of making sure that the House of Lords is made fully aware of the fact that today's programme motion makes absolutely no difference to whether or not yesterday we had any opportunity to consider the clauses, 3 clauses and 3 schedules that were before the House.
I certainly can't go into all of that. It's suffice to say that I think that the point that the honourable gentleman has just made constitutes really a self-fulfilling prophecy insofar as he's concerned that the other place should be aware of his interpretation of last night's events. He has made it aware of his interpretation by what he's just said. It's on the record, and I'm sure it will be studied carefully there and elsewhere. I'm grateful to the honourable gentleman, the member for Stone, for giving me notice of his point of order. It is not for me to rule on what has happened in committee of the whole House. On the wider issue he raises, it is not unprecedented. The honourable gentleman has been a member of the House since 1984, so he will testify to the truth of this, for a minister to move a backbench amendment, even if he does not wish or she does not wish to vote for it. As the Deputy Speaker said last night, what the government proposed, and I'm quoting here, is orderly understanding order number 83D little 2, although it is, as some honourable members have observed, including today the honourable gentleman, somewhat unusual. I'm sure that honourable members will also have noted the opportunities open to them, as has been remarked, on report. Members present will certainly have noted what the Deputy Leader of the House has just said. I hope that's helpful. I'm not keen to take, and indeed I'm keen not to take, further points of order on that matter.